Hey everyone, Jared here again. If you're new to the stream, I am Jared. I'm a Rubyist. I run a software consultancy where we we build and maintain Rails-based e-commerce storefronts using a framework called Solidus. But we're not doing that today. Today, we're working on the Advent of Code challenges for 2020. Programming puzzles, two sort of paired puzzles per day. And while I'm coming to grips with the fact that I'm not going to get through all 25 days doing this, what I'm doing is I'm doing TCR in Ruby, test commit revert, where every time I run I'm basically trying to test drive all of my changes, though. You know, I get a little lazy, or more than a little lazy, here and there. And every time I run my tests, if they pass, the changes are committed, and if they fail, the changes are reverted. So it makes it a little trickier. Additionally, I am doing a whiskey advent calendar. This is, what's that? Bit of paper towel. This is Nika from the Barrel. It's a Japanese whiskey. It smells very nice, very sweet. I'm getting the same thing the taster's got, a little like banana bready thing going on. Yeah, it's got that nice, rich, I don't know, banana bready thing. They're not wrong on that one. Or maybe they just primed me for it, but who knows? Regardless, it tastes very nice. Now today we are on day 5. Day 4 took longer than I would have liked, so I'm gonna try and pump it up. Unfortunately, I think I cracked my. I'm worried I cracked my finger, like I cracked the bone in it or something. Playing hockey, which we were able to play here up until last week. Turns out not everyone had been following the rules, so adult sports have been canceled. But yeah, I think I cracked it somehow playing hockey, and then it's been hurting me. The worst thing is it hurts to grip a PlayStation 5 controller, something that I do enjoy doing. Though things are pretty busy these days, so I haven't been playing a ton. But, well, I guess we can talk about one thing that I've sort of learned so far in this sort of stream thing is the tough thing I've encountered, and I'm going to do a blog post whenever I actually decide to give up on TCRing all these. I'll do a blog post and talk about like what I felt I learned from this. But here, let's see in my dot files. Here, I'm not telling you where my SSH servers are. No, I mean, that was actually more for something that would show on my screen after I SSH'd in. Excuse me. All right. Back to what was I saying? So the thing that I've learned so far is that there's a bit of a trick when it comes to, or there's a bit of a painful part when it comes to if you write your tests and you make a mistake that you didn't notice you made, it throws away the changes and you can't see what it was. So you have to think really hard about, like, what did I do wrong that caused this mistake to happen? And I think we saw that twice last night, where I did something that didn't work and it threw away my changes, and then I did the same thing again and it worked, or I thought the same thing. Obviously it wasn't the same. So that's kind of frustrating. I haven't gone back and watched the stream to see what actually happened. I don't think chat didn't catch it or anything either, so It's kind of tough, but this is what it is. Not exactly sure what the solution to that is. Thank you one viewer for coming out. Usually this picks up once a few people finish their puzzles and come help me with them, so hopefully that's the same again tonight. I am pretty committed to getting through all 25 of these this year, even if it means giving up on the TCR. I'm gonna after a week I'm gonna reevaluate, then maybe aim for 10 days and just sort of every few days decide whether it's time to give up on the TCR and just do them, or whether there's something else fun we could do. I don't know what else we'd pick. We still got 4 minutes. Three minutes, 23 seconds, I guess. Maybe a little drink of water before we get started. I'm not getting as much light on my face here either. There's very, very white light on me. Of course, every time I switch back to my terminal, it's going to be like blinding. Yeah, I should probably get proper lighting for my setup, especially since I've got a good camera. Currently rereading Kempbeck's XP Explained or whatever the book is. Doing a little XP refresher. There's a lot of the pieces of extreme programming make sense to me in terms of how all teams should function, but I don't think I've ever worked on a team that really explicitly did XP. It can also be difficult as consultants. Not every organization wants to engage with us in the same way, so we're trying to get sort of better at pushing our figuring out our agile workflow. So spending some time thinking about that. It's a funny one too, because I didn't realize I'd read the book already. I searched for it in the Kindle app, and it was from your library. Oh, okay. Then I opened it and I was on Appendix 1, and I was like, oh, well, obviously at some point I read this. Da, da, da. That was a very nice scotch. Or whiskey, rather. Not a scotch. Don't drink a ton these days. So doing this whiskey ad calendar is a nice little break for the holidays. A break from not drinking very much. Wish my pinky wasn't so sore though. All right, here we go. Day 5. Game on. Let's go. Just crash their site for a second. You board your plane only to discover a new problem. You dropped your boarding pass. You aren't sure which seat is yours, and all the flight attendants are busy with the flood of people that suddenly made it through passport control. You write a quick program to use your phone's camera to scan all of the nearby boarding passes. Perhaps you can find your seat through process of elimination. Instead of the zones or groups, this airline uses binary space partitioning. Is this a link? It's linked to YouTube. To seat people. Binary space partitioning. Haven't done any of that in a while. A seat might be specified like FB, FBB, FF, RLR, which means F means front, B means back, L means left, and R means right. The first 7 characters will either be F or B. These specify exactly one of the 128 rows on the plane, numbered 0 through 127. Okay. Each letter tells you which half of a region the given seat is in. Start with the whole list of rows. The first letter indicates whether the seat is in the front, 0 through 63, or the back, 64 through 127. The next letter indicates which half of that region the seat is in, and so on until you're left with exactly one row. It's kind of like binary searching, except instead of like examining the things and picking one half, you're just following the instructions of the thing. For example, consider just the first 7 characters. I believe that's how that's pronounced. Start by considering the whole range. Yeah, we're not going to walk through that. The last 2 characters will be either L or R. These specify exactly one of the 8 columns of seats on the plane, numbered 0 through 7. Yes. This is where I skim over something that I should have probably looked at. Every seat also has a unique seat ID. Multiply the row by 8 and then add the column. In this example, seat has, okay, sure. Look through your list of boarding passes. What is the highest seat ID on a boarding pass? Sure, let's do it. Well, I mean, we can start by writing some tests. We want the highest ID. So we first need to be able to like compute a seat. Okay. Do a boarding pass class. I think that makes sense. Subject is going to be, I'm not going to use subject here. Let's just pass. This keyboard is programmed so that when I tap left shift, it inserts a left paren, and right shift, it inserts a right paren, as if I'm some sort of Lisp nerd. But because I've not been typing on this keyboard very much lately, forgetting I have that nice convenience. Don't have to like reach with my pinky and hold shift and do all that. It's not an input, it's like a, what do we call these? I'm gonna say partition. So I used RSpec for this. In fact, screw it. I'm just writing examples. Let's do macros. Dare we do this with a macro? No. I guess it would have worked there, but it's going to be a hell of a macro if it works. Oh no, I accidentally canceled it. Well, we got most of the macro. Kind of works. That's funny. All right, lovely. Oh, wrong command. Sure. And we can write a little code. So we want to take let's use a little IRB here. One, two, three, too far. So we want 0 to 6 and 7 to 79. Beautiful. Now can we... Yeah, sure, let's just leave that like that. Steps, column steps. I don't know. That's bad. What did they call it? Oh yeah, sure. Row and column. See, this test doesn't work at all for what we're doing. Now that I think about it. Because how am I supposed to move in steps with a test like this? We need it computes rows, and we need it computes columns, and it computes IDs. And right. And we can like break this down. Because let's just pull these into lets, right? What am I deleting? Just everything randomly? And then row, ready to collect these and move them into lets. And oh. Shall we successfully use a macro this time? We'll do these should all still fail, but only if I run the right command. Syntax error, and we forgot assignment. Luckily, our harness does not throw everything away when that happens. Cool. So can you like subtract ranges or something in Ruby? That would be hilarious. No. This isn't even valid syntax. Okay, well, what if we make it valid syntax? Okay, no subtract for range. Because I don't want to like actually generate all these whole arrays. That's like arrays of numbers to do this. Yeah. Yeah. Oh, hey Hoth. Yeah. I don't want to generate the whole array. I just don't feel like that. Because like maybe I'll just keep track of the start and the end, and then that seems reasonably easy to do. So 0 to 127. Bottom equals 0, top equals 127. We could even do inject. Why not do inject? I think it's gonna be like while or until bottom equals top or something. Is this a way that works to do this? Maybe a little bit more whiskey will tell me. Today's whiskey is very nice. I like it. So, no, right, that's not how we're going to do this. Row steps dot each do step. If step is a B, else if step is an F, else this should never happen. It's valid Ruby, right? You know? This still, oh, whoops. No, I'm not gonna run it. I'm not gonna run it. I don't want to commit it. I don't expect it to work. So F means take the lower half. B means take the upper half. So lower half is easier because its bottom equals like bottom plus 1 divided by 2 minus 1, right? So we should expect, like, we should be able to, like, raise unless bottom equals top here, I think, at the end. But anyway, sorry. This isn't true. This logic does not work. I lied. Let's just do it with the arrays. This is too hard. I thought I was trying to be clever. Rows equals 0 to 127 to A, and then it's the easiest way to take half of an array. Like, I can think of ways I'd do it if I was just YOLOing this, but so that gives us the array of numbers. Is there like there's some clever method on array that's going to make this easy for me? I guess I can do slicing. Slicing's pretty easy. Because, let's see, let's just do a test on a smaller array. So let's say we only have 16. So we can take 0 to r dot length over 2. Minus 1. Can we not go from the end? Oh, I didn't even, never mind. Oh man. Head not in the game. Okay. Whew. All right. So rows equals call steps dot each do step. If step equals f, we're gonna do one thing. Otherwise, we're gonna do another thing. And then we're going to return rows dot first. And just double checking this again. F means take the lower half. So rows equals rows 0 to rows dot length over 2 minus 1. Otherwise, it is rows dot length 2 all the way to -1. This seems vaguely sensible. Let's watch it get. Oh. Ooh. What if it had passed? What if? Expected 70, got 112. That's exciting. What am I? How am I gonna even do this? The expected 70 got 112. These numbers don't have any like obvious relationship with each other. All right. I can write things I know will fail. No, what am I doing? I don't actually want to do that. So I did not. What am I missing? What am I ending up with in this array? 112 through 127. Intriguing. So 127 divided by 2, or sorry, 128 divided by 2. Yeah. Okay, this should work. If we were actually halving it every time. But obviously one of these isn't actually halving it all every time. Or I'd be dead. That's halving it. Okay. R dot length over 2. That's 16 to 31. Yeah, this is halving it. Oh, row steps. Oh, man. Brutal. Oh, sure. Whatever. Well, that's sad. But we got a passing test. Okay, so we got the basic logic. Now we can do columns. Is the same logic, except for 0 to 7. And we use call steps, and we have a different R means high, L means low. Nice, our logic was good. And then ID is supposed to be row times 8 plus column. Lovely. Okay, we got stuck on me having written column instead of row and not debugging things in a sensible way. They don't really provide us a good normal test, so I'm just going to write the solution, I guess. New ID, sure, and is there like a max? Sure. Boom. All right, so we did it. That's awesome. On to part 2. Ding! The fasten seatbelt signs have turned on. Time to find your seat. It's a completely full flight, so your seat should be the only one missing, the only missing boarding pass on your in your list. However, there's a catch. Some of the seats at the very front and back of the plane don't exist on this aircraft, so they'll be missing from your list as well. Your seat wasn't at the very front or back, though, so seats with IDs +1 and -1 from yours will be in your list. What is your seat? Okay. So let's just, I guess we can, now that we have an answer, we can at least put that, put that. Ooh. Boarding passes. All right. Oh, but this is not important. It's that maps into their IDs. That's fine. We can live with that. Because then I think so. Can you do that? Is that how max works, or does it? I don't want to do comparable. I want like max by. Is max by like a active support thing or something? Okay, cool. Now we need to do some other stuff with those boarding passes. So I don't even know if I want to write tests for this. So we're gonna boarding passes map. Actually, you know what? There won't be any collisions. So I'm going to just transform this into a hash by doing group by ID, which will give me a hash with the IDs as the keys and the boarding passes as the values. Never thought of doing that before. I use group by really heavily in these usually, and this is, I think, the first time I managed to pull it out. Okay. Now we're looking for one that... Hello, Jiggins. Welcome. We're looking for the boarding pass where the... So I guess we can like .find or whatever. Find a boarding pass. I'll just do each and I'll return inside of it. If Ooh, hiccups. Gonna call this H because I'm good at naming variables. And this is ID pass. If H ID +1 and H ID -1 and return VP.ID. Is it the ID that we need? What's the ID of your seat? Yeah. Then we'll run the right part of the puzzle. And boarding pass is a typo. And ID is an array. Yeah. Or I guess I just need to return ID. Same thing. Not the right answer. Oh, we're looking for a missing one. Lol. Right. Looping over the wrong things. So we want to loop over 0 to 127. No, these are IDs. Right, interesting. So like the lowest is going to be 0 and the highest is going to be 127 times 8 plus 7. Is that right? But we want the ones that aren't. Yeah, I only just realized why that's 127 times 8 plus. Like, I only realized just now why the seat numbers, like the IDs are like consecutive. Like they go 0, 1, 2, 3 all the way to the end of the plane. They just go across the rows. That didn't even occur to me until now. Oh, just like okay, now I gotta explain. All right, let's go up to the. So yeah, the 8 there's 8 seats in every row. So the first, and so like if you look at the first row, row's going to be 0, so that first term is going to be 0, and the seats are going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, or 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Then in the next row, you add 8 to that, and you get 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, and you keep going all the way up. And that is the thing that I just realized, which is how I came up with this math that I jammed into this. And then we're going to subtract that from H. So we're going to take all of those possible numbers. We are going to subtract them from, subtract the keys that we know are, or the IDs that we know exist, and try and hunt for one that's missing. That one's missing. We did it. Yeah, so the strategy I just took was that I made a hash of all of where the values were, the boarding passes, and the IDs were the keys, though I didn't actually do anything with the values, so this could have just been like boarding passes dot. I mean, I could have done it a different way. Anyway, then I took all of the possible boarding pass IDs, put them in an array, subtracted the IDs that I knew already existed, and looped over it looking up to see if the boarding pass after and the boarding pass before existed. Cool. That wasn't so bad, except that I like barely wrote any tests and didn't actually do TCR beyond that building the boarding pass class, but that's okay. That's okay. We don't have to. We're here to learn. So thanks everyone for coming. I will be back again tomorrow night and the next night. So yeah, see y'all later. Thanks for coming out.